I designed this smart shirt to make virtual experiences feel more physical and intuitive. It reads body movement, orientation, and muscle tension. So in our native demo app, the Nexus, we can do things existing games usually can't. Look with your head while independently targeting and aiming with your hands. Draw a bow, grab, throw, cast, and release using gestures that mimic the action itself. But Avatar wasn't built for a smart shirt. It was built for a standard controller. So here, we're running in compatibility mode, translating body signals into controller inputs and pushing them through the game as is. This isn't the full version of what the shirt can do. It's the shirt adapting itself to an existing game. A game like Avatar is supposed to make you feel like you're inside another body, like you're a Na'vi moving through Pandora. But a regular controller still puts a piece of plastic between you and the fantasy, forcing the action to flow through here instead of putting you inside the Na'vi body by doing things like this. So today I'm playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora with a smart shirt. All right, back in Pandora. Living the dream. Ooh, that's pretty. Waterfall. Okay, let's try this. So left hand. So left hand is mapped as sprint at the moment. Charles cannot do it with water. So for instance, if I'm walking forward and I squeeze my left hand, I can sprint. Now, right hand is fire weapon, but the weapon's not out at the moment. Okay, so what we'll do is shoulders is crouch, but when I'm sprinting, so this is going to require a couple buttons at the same time. So I'm going to try to sprint over there and slide. So if basically I walk, I sprint, and then I crouch, I can slide. It's pretty fun. Let's try it again. Sprint, slide. Neat. Now, got my weapon out. I should so I'm going to aim for that. So currently I've got it mapped to head aiming. So with the weapon out, you're moving your head around. And then my right hand should be the draw and release. Nice. Let's get that guy. Out of arrows. Sad story, man. Okay. To harvest some materials to get more arrows. So now I have it calibrated to just about here as my neutral point. So I go hand up, hand down, hand right, hand left. So this would be, you're holding the weapon, and I could recalibrate it to be a little higher up if I wanted to. But it looks like the neutral point here, the middle point of the aiming is just about here. So right, left, down, up. All controllers, including this one, have a little dead zone in the middle. So the way, and that's native to this game. So the Pandora, the Avatar game here basically assumes that you're using a regular controller. And what that does is it by default, it puts a little dead zone in the center, so if you like just touch the controller, it doesn't do much in the very middle. It makes it so that on the controller it doesn't become over responsive. The difference is that this is kind of the sweet spot for where you want to be aiming if you're doing hand-based aiming. So in our native app, the Nexus, we don't have that dead zone in the center. So you move, it moves immediately. Here, it makes it so that your movements have to be a little bit more exaggerated, and then you end up with overcorrections. I mean, it still works. It works great, but I would prefer to see it, you know, and with a native implementation with no dead zone in the center. I have no arrows to fire with. Sad story. All right. So in this case, I still kind of, I miss navigating, I miss turning my head and having it track in game. And so you're forced to pick in a schema like this between, you know, you're aiming your weapon with your hand, or you're just navigating, and it's all one control. Your right joystick typically controls your aiming and your looking. When you're navigating this way, you kind of want your head to track. When you're using a weapon, you want your hand to track. So ideally, you have both independently. All right, now we've harvested the material. We need some arrows. What's that? Quick healing, nice. So I'm using, right now, shoulder tension is mapped to, whoa buddy. That's a bit of a warning sign. What do we got? Whoa. Here, I'm gonna fire my weapon at you. Bam! That's cool. I just use my right hand to do that. Just squeeze and release. We'll have some more fun with these guys. So, I'm going to do our bow and arrow here. We're aiming with our head. You look where you want the crosshairs to be. Again, it's a little hard because of that dead zone that they put in, and they being the game makers in this case, because it's mapped for a regular controller. So I do this and you don't see a lot of movement. I actually have to get past the dead zone in order to aim. So it ends up being slightly awkward, but easy enough to, if there was some native support, that'd be easy enough to get around here. So anyway, it's fine, it's workable. So then you squeeze and release. I gotta say, that's really fun. It feels different than pushing a button, you know. Ideally, if we had native support, what you could do too is, instead of being just squeezing and releasing, you could have it linked to a gesture, like pulling your hand back the way you would be pulling a bow back. I'm gonna see if I can fire between the trees there. Nice. What do I have here? Something harvestable. Gather some of that for later. Some native harvesting here, that's cool. So to do that, first you do that, and then so this is actually a map to my body angle right now, which is pretty fun. So that's intuitive. So I get it, and then I gently pull, and the amount of tension in this game, you have to squeeze just the right amount. And that's fun because the amount of, like, squeezing a trigger is different than just squeezing your hand. This feels much more like you're harvesting something. So I really like that feeling. That's great. And it's such a beautiful environment. Honestly, it's just fun being in it, interacting with it. Some hints, there you go. I use my left hand to holster and again unholster my weapon. So if it's off, if it's holstered, I squeeze my left hand to unholster it. I'm gonna aim with my head. All right, so I'm going to holster and unholster with my left hand just by doing a simple squeeze. Aiming with my right hand, aiming with my head currently. Trying to get past that dead zone they code in. Don't hate them for it. I mean, I get it, because normally it's for a controller. This makes things a bit interesting. And then, fly, my pretties. Yes. That's awesome. I'm gonna holster this thing, and yeah, it's a lot of fun, I have to say. Okay, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. My verdict? Playing this in a smart shirt was fantastic. Honestly, it exceeded my expectations. For me, it felt way more fun and immersive than playing with a regular controller. A few thoughts. Aiming with your head works. It's totally usable. Aiming with your hand feels better for weapons, especially something like a bow, but it gets awkward when you need that same input for general camera navigation. The best version is both. Look with your head while independently aiming with your hands. That's something we support natively in the Nexus, our own demo app. But it's not something we can really do through controller emulation because the game only sees us as a normal controller. And that's the big takeaway. Avatar would be incredible with native smart shirt support. Independent head tracking, independent hand targeting, and gestures that actually match the action. Draw a bow to draw a bow, punch to punch, grab to grab, cast to cast. Right now, muscle tension is standing in for a lot of those actions because we're adapting to an existing controller layout. But with native support, this could feel much closer to actually being inside the Na'vi body. The smart shirt already works in compatibility mode, but Avatar made one thing really obvious. Native support is where this gets magical. What game should we try next? Drop a comment and let us know.